your horror movie podcast.
Welcome back, Hackstab Slash. It's me, Hacky. I haven't done this voice in a long time, but I'm gonna do it for you, brother, because Justin, I got a question for you.
Oh, what's the question?
What do you call a cold puppy?
Cold puppy. I'm gonna say a chili dog.
Oh, boom, 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 boom. Welcome back, Hackstab Slash. Justin's got it right. Hell yeah, we are doing Fear Street 1978. We're going to follow this path of just crushing movies. And we crushed, I think we crushed 1996. So let's just beat the shit out of 1978. How you feeling about that, Justin?
We crushed 1994. You said 1996.
My bad.
94. But I am feeling
this is a great start.
I say you just bragged about how great we're gonna do, but I think we're gonna have a wonderful talk about 1978.
That's right. When I wrote down my notes for this, dude, I wrote down 1979.
Oh, Jacob, we're gonna be all over the place. Sean's gonna say 2,000 different years in this episode, but yeah, following up from 1994, we're going in order, which 1994 to 1978 doesn't seem like that's in order, but according to these movies, it is. So I'm pretty excited to get into this one.
I mean, you say going in order. I'm gonna burn a fun fact right now. Okay. Like, yes, we're going in order backwards with this trilogy because that's how it was released. Mm-hmm. Did you know this was the last movie shot out of the three, so it's technically still out of order?
I saw that. They filmed 1, 3, 2. How messed up is that?
Jeez, that's more confusing than a Star Wars.
Yeah, right?
All right, Justin, had you ever seen this movie before?
I have. I saw it right away. I watched all three of those in a row. Absolutely loved them. And I believe, I think I might have picked this movie, but I picked it because we did 90. You picked 94. I honestly couldn't decide what I wanted to watch, but I also love camp slashers are my favorite thing ever, so I just kind of made sense just to, do a second one. So
this is a fantastic camp slasher. All right, dude, you ready to just dive into this?
I want to go fast.
All right, let's put our swim trunks on and start that butterfly stroke because we get a news recap of the events happening from this whole night at C. Berman's house. We get fully up to speed about everything that's going on in this trilogy. It also gives us a good idea of where we are and where we're about to go. Because we all know that in Shadyside, there is nothing that pairs perfectly with some breaking and entering than a murderous fun time story.
Yep.
I mean, it's like peanut butter and jelly, am I right?
100%.
Dude, C's house is full of timers and clocks and just all this shit perfectly labeled everywhere. I mean, even her cigarettes, lighter, phone, ashtray, like the whole 9 yards. Like, this is OCD to the fullest extent, and I'm blaming that fully on her trauma.
Oh, yeah.
And after Dina and Josh break in and they are legit begging for help, I'm going to call her C because C. Berman is a mouthful. Mm-hmm. C decides to take them back to Camp Nightwing to the summer of 1978. Side note, love that this dog's name is Major Tom.
How cool was that?
Dude, rest in peace to a legend, David Bowie.
I was going to say, we got a David Bowie reference right away.
So we are back to 1978. We get introduced to Ziggy. She's out, just like Justin, running around in the woods for a mid-afternoon jog in the forest because, well, who doesn't want to do this in a beautiful summer day during a beautiful summertime? But we also meet someone else, and he's doing an absolute trash job impression of Mick Foley's Cactus Jack clothesline. But don't worry, because this is immediately followed up with a chick named Sheila, who's our local campground mean girl. Dude, she strings up Ziggy, and they try to burn her, and they start calling her a witch, and they're hanging her from a fucking tree. Like, holy psychopathic kids.
Dude, what the heck is going on?
I have no idea, but Nick and Kurt show up just in time to break this up. And Kurt's first reaction is to send Ziggy home. And Nick changes his mind because he's like, hey, jackass, someone's going to ask about these burns. Like, you ready to explain that? And he's like, all right, well, one more time, Ziggy. One more time. And you're seriously done. Go to the nurse's office and get patched up. Ziggy heads out to the nurse's office. And she does find this creepy ass journal. Justin,
whoa,
giant fucking red flag.
I was gonna say, massive. Like right away.
I get you're looking around this office and you see something kind of witchy and you might be, intrigued by it, but you have this history in your town of a witch. Stay away from that shit.
Yeah, don't even look at it. Just look the other way.
Nurse Lane comes in and she sits Ziggy down and they start talking back and forth. And Nurse Lane is kind of unhinged because she's like, do you know who my daughter is? Do you know what she did? And I legit wrote down Nurse Lane is unhinged with a syringe. Get away from this bitch right now.
Get out. Get out.
Our nurse is going off the deep end. And not only is she hurting Ziggy on her Pat's job, but she's also giving off like, I'm on a bender and haven't slept in a few days vibes.
Oh, yeah.
Holy shit. Like this lady needs to take some kind of
she needs to go take a nap.
Chemical to put her out for a little bit.
Right.
Cindy does show up and she interrupts the two. Cindy is beyond pissed with Ziggy. And even though Ziggy is expressing concern for Nurse Lane, Cindy does not give two shits about anything her sister's saying because she needs to be better, she needs to do better, and she needs to not mess this summer up because their mom cannot take care of Cindy and work to save money to send Cindy to college. I said Cindy, but I meant Ziggy.
I was going to say there's a lot of Cindy's there.
Yeah. I don't know what Cindy is more pissed about, Justin. Her sister acting up, scrubbing this red mossy shit off the campus outhouse, or walking in and seeing Alice and Arnie just straight up going to Pound Town while they're getting high.
Oh, yeah.
This chick, Ziggy, is about 1 second away from the biggest panic attack she's ever had in her life, and we're 10 fucking minutes into this movie.
You said Ziggy. I think you meant Cindy again.
Oh my God, dude.
You're doing it.
I'm doing you. I thought we were going to cross this, and I'm not
going to cross it. You've already said the names wrong 8 times.
Oh my God. And I have it written down correctly, too.
Oh, that's awesome. I was like, Ziggy.
While she's off finding a new sponge to scrub these floors with, Tommy, her boyfriend, actually gets attacked by Nurse Lane. Clearly something's off because she apologizes before any of this happens.
Yeah, what the
and she follows that up with like, either way, you're gonna die tonight. Bro, Cindy.
Oh, okay.
Cindy is the hero in this situation because she does absolutely nothing to break up the scuffle.
This freezes.
Yeah.
She literally was just like.
Eventually, though, like Tommy in his scuffle with Nurse Lane, she gets knocked unconscious. And Tommy is just in absolute shock of what just happened. He's like, I have no idea. He's even telling the cops, he's like I've done nothing but ever get like bug spray from her. Like, I don't know why she would attack me. I'm going to go back to this 1,000 times, Justin. I am a massive fan of Don't Fear the Reaper playing while this entire camp is buzzing about what just happened.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also like a great way to get them all pumped up for Color Wars.
Yep.
They're so invested in the whole Color Wars thing. It's great.
Oh, yeah.
When Cindy does go to investigate why this all went down, Ziggy isn't trying to hear any of it because she's pissed and she kind of like tells her sister to go kick rocks. She's like, I tried talking to you earlier, but you're a stuck up bitch. And now I don't want to talk to you. Like the tension between these two is at an all-time high.
You feel it right through the screen.
Then we get Carry On My Wayward Son playing over the intercom while the whole camp gets ready to kick off Color Wars. Bro, this scene is absolutely epic.
Love it.
This match, like if I could compare this to something in 1994, it's the scene when Dina gets on the bus.
Yeah, you love that scene.
I like this. I haven't seen 1666 in quite some time, but I'm hoping there's a transition scene like that in 1666 because that is like a staple in these movies right now for me, anyways.
Oh yeah.
But this song is playing right up until Tommy kind of zones out and is starting to hear Sarah Fuhrer in his head. And right then and there, you're like, all right, this shit is about to get fucking wild.
Oh, yeah.
Tommy and Cindy break away from all these festivities to like go investigate inside the infirmary. And they find a half-empty bottle of pills with no label. And they chalk it up like, this is the reason why Nurse Lane attacked you is because of drugs. We have to get this to the cops so they can, piece this together and we can help them with this investigation instead of just being kids and enjoying the rest of your summer camp after something traumatizing just happened. Tommy does hear something in the distance, though, and he goes to investigate and he is jump scared by Alice and Arnie, who are legit just looking to get high. I'm like, the stoners in this movie are perfect.
Yep.
Alice does find a map when they're digging through all the Nurse Lane shit. She finds a map and they decide to follow this map because they find a bunch of red X's and they want to know what these X's mean because it's definitely not Xanax and it's definitely not ecstasy.
Nope.
Nick shows up now to Ziggy's cabin where he catches her mixing red paint to look like blood. And this is because she wants to carry Sheila. There's
Mm-hmm.
some real nice back and forth between these two, giving like Stephen King low-key shout outs and all this stuff about his novels and what's to come out. And it's just a real good bonding plan between the two. And Nick is like, hey, I got a better plan. But we don't find out what this plan is. Maybe we're going to have to wait and see because it cuts back now to Alice and Arnie. And they find out what these X's mean. I mean, for fuck's sake, dude, Alice falls into a grave. Are you kidding me? All these X's are grave markers.
All graves.
I'm turning around. I'm getting the hell out of there.
I was gonna say, if that's not another red flag, leave immediately.
So what in my head, I'm like, so is Nurse Lane planning on killing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? There's 10 graves,
right?
Like, no, you leave.
Get out.
And they're like, oh, she must be looking for Sarah Fier's body. That explains it.
Yeah, we'll keep going.
Yeah, let's just try to make sense of a senseless situation. So while they're doing this, Arnie is gonna go on a pee break, and he actually finds if we learned anything from the first movie, you don't go on a pee break by yourself. All right, that just no.
Don't do it.
While he's doing this, though, he does find the witch's house and an entryway into what I have written down as the caverns. I'm assuming this is just the basement of the house that was there.
Mm.
Alice has zero fear in exploring this witch's den. Eventually, though, she does stumble into some sort of like a seance room. Leave.
I was gonna say, do I need to throw another red flag? Like,
bro,
holy shit.
Like, she's touching candles and she's like, wow, someone was here like recently. You find this giant witch's mark engraved into the floor, Justin, and there's still a fucking candle burning. Someone was there very recently. Leave.
I'd be out in 2 seconds. The second I saw that, I wouldn't even go take one more step. Turn around. We're gone.
Turn around.
Fucking run.
Get the fuck out of there.
I'm
calling my parents and I'm being like, hey, I'm going to start walking down the main road to come home. You need to come get me. I don't care when it is, but I don't care when it is.
I would just start fucking jogging.
I am gone. Arnie is like, nah, dude, I'm good. He heads upstairs to go see Tommy. And Tommy, dude, is completely out of it. He's almost in like a trance-like state. You know what I mean? His eyes are open, but he's not like aware of his surroundings at all. And while Cindy is downstairs looking around, Alice actually finds a wall with all the Shady Side killers' names engraved into stone. And at the bottom of this list, we see Tommy's name. And right then and there, Cindy's like, oh, are you just trying to scare me? And she's like, no, dumbass. What do you think I just did? Etched your boyfriend's name into stone with my fingernails? Like, no, someone else put this there. Like, come on. Piece it together. Stop being in denial. And just like that, dude, we see Tommy snaps out of it, and he is fully possessed right now. Like, you can see the change in his face, just like we seen with the Ghostface killer in the Skull Mask killer. Sorry, in 1994. Dude, he cuts Arnie's head basically in half. Dude. I mean, I'm so glad Arnie took all this Tylenol trying to get high, because talk about a fucking splitting headache.
Sir,
Tommy pursues Alice and Cindy into the depths of this den, and the only thing that stops him is this wall caving in, and it kind of creates like a stone-like barrier that spreads them apart. Sheila then gets a note into another cutscene from what the hell's the brother's name? Nick. No, Will. I get the two goods confused sometimes.
Yeah, I was gonna say
this. I did that like 1,000 times when I kept writing it down.
That one is confusing.
So Sheila gets a note from who she thinks is Will to meet her in the outhouses. Sheila thinks this is super romantic because, I mean, I'm gonna give you an Outcast shout out right now. Roses really smell like poo. Ooh, ooh. But instead of a stinky night of adulterous behaviors, she gets a bucket of bugs dumped on her head and then locked into these outhouses by Ziggy and Nick.
Let's go.
Love it. So much better than the paint idea, because now she's forced to sit there with all these bugs around her.
Oh, yeah.
Then we go back and we see Cindy and Alice are at absolute odds with each other. Cindy wants to find a way out, and Alice is almost just content to stay down there and die or see if someone comes to save them. Cindy isn't having any of this, though, because she's like, Tommy is topside and he's heading towards the camp. We need to save as many campers as we possibly can, including my sister. And Justin, I need you to do us all a favor.
Yeah.
Go take a piss break before you tell us if they get out of this or not.
All right, I think I'm good right now. I think I'm good, but Holy crap, yeah. So like you said, I mean, they are going at it. And Alice is just like yelling at Cindy. She's like, it was the witch. Like, wake up. Like, this shit is real. Like, we are in deep trouble. And so Cindy just is like, you know what, I'm going. So she just starts walking out ahead of her. And Cindy's already hearing whispers. You hear her like, Cindy, like her name. And she leaves for like, I don't know, 2 minutes, and she goes right back in a circle. She literally finds her way right back to Alice. She started yelling, and Alice is like, I didn't even move. Like, you went in a circle, like, for the love
She
of
was
God.
good. Why are you following me?
Yeah, she's like, I didn't go anywhere. And then they actually realize that the witch's mark is like a map of the friggin' cave systems is actually to the witch's mark. So holy crap. Anyway, back now, we're gonna be jumping around a lot. So we got back in the cabin of the Color Wars. We see one
Yes,
of
we're back in the
yeah,
cabin
we
again.
see a nerdy shady sider, and he's there. He's getting egged by the Sunnydales and everything. He's got the kids captured or whatever, and they rescue him. So they all leave. So this kid's all alone, and all of a sudden, who does he stumble across? We see Tommy walk, and the kid even is like, Tommy. Well, poor Tommy hacks this kid up. Holy crap! Obliterates this kid. Like,
Dude,
wow.
this is the only kill
This
so far in both movies that I was like, why?
this
Why
dude.
did you need to kill him?
So that poor kid, man. This nerdy little like fun kid there, just destroyed. And anyway, now we got Ziggy and Nick, and they are bonding. They are having a good time. They're in a cabin, and you get a lot of good like character growth here. You get her sis talking about her sister, how they grown apart, the whole entire story of like growing up and everything. You even get Nick talking about how there's like a lot of pressure on him and everything from his dad to become the cop and everything. They're going back, they're asking each other's questions and everything. They end up getting to the point where they actually kiss, but that doesn't last long because they hear screaming. Because guess who was discovered? The cool little nerdy kid. He was discovered, and everyone is freaking out right now. We get back to the caves real fast. We see Alice and Cindy. They're still lost, and they stumble across this giant, disgusting
I wrote it
heart
down as a
blob.
hematoma.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't even know what this thing was. It was like a blob heart, and it's beating. And Alice touches it, and she gets a
No.
vision.
Mm-mm. Nope.
What do you got? What do you got?
You don't ever touch that.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Another
You
like,
see something like that, that
dude,
is no.
yeah. No, first of all, that's
What is
insane.
wrong with
No,
you,
no,
woman?
there's so many red flags and like dumb decisions. She touches it, and you see a bit. She sees everything. I'm talking like all the murders over like the 100 years, like couple 100 years to everything. Dude, she's just panicking. She is running. You see like visions of like black-eyed kids in there and stuff. It's disgusting. Like to the point where she falls and like breaks a leg, a bone literally freaking shoots out of her leg.
Oh,
Holy crap.
ugh.
Back at
Said
that,
shivers up my spine.
seriously. At the cabin now, we got pure back to the cabins. We got pure freaking panic. They are doing a head count. They are all in the mess hall right now, and we see there are tons of kids missing. And we have Nick and the other counselor. They're like, you know what? We're going searching. Two of them, they run out, and Ziggy's still in the cabin. She's like, oh my God, we forgot. She's like, I forgot about freaking Sheila. Like Sheila is still locked in the
I would have
bathroom.
left her ass in there.
I know. So she actually runs out too. So you got the two counselors running. She runs out, and of course, we see it's a throwback slashes. We have to have the sex scene. We see the two carriers, the two counselors having sex. They're having a great old time and everything. The girl gets up and Tommy walks in there and stuff, and she's just walking and she's like, "Oh, Tommy!" Boom, chopped up again. This dude Tommy is just swinging this thing everywhere. She is
Dustin,
dead. What do you got?
did this sex scene? I know it's two completely different time frames,
Yeah.
but the way, what's his name, Kurt,
Yep.
the leader of the Sunny Veilers, and I don't remember her name, but
I
she
was saying,
was
I don't
like she
remember
gave the speech at the Color Wars
Yeah.
for the Shady Siders.
Yep.
Did this scene take time frames out of it? It reminded me so much of when Freddy versus Jason when they're having sex and like he gets up and she lights a cigarette and he's like, "Babe, put that shit out." Like just treats
Oh
her
yeah.
like absolute
Yeah, this
trash.
guy was such a dick and stuff.
And
Like
he's
this
like,
guy,
"Don't you ever tell anyone that this ever
yeah,
happened.
this never
I'm a
happened.
Sunny Veiler. I'm way too cool for
Yeah,
you."
she's like, just admit it. Like shady sides do it better and stuff. Like, oh yeah, complete. The guy was a complete jerk off. And anyway, we see now we see that we're in the caves again, and Alice tells Cindy like everything that she saw, and she's like, "You're next." Like the witch is real, and she is. As this is happening, she gets her leg, like the bone gets pushed back into the leg. Like, whoa.
Ugh.
We all know how much Sean loves that one. If anyone's talking about the
Oh
podcast, I'm
God,
pretty
no.
sure he's mentioned how he hates that. And you do get another touching moment here. They both share stories how they're both not perfect. They both made mistakes, been a bad sister. Other girls like self-harmed herself. And they're not perfect. They have it's a pretty touching moment. But as they're having that, they also notice red moss everywhere, and they're like, "Holy shit, that's like that red moss that stained my shirt and everything. That means we are close to camp, so let's go." Meanwhile, we're back outside. We see Nick. He catches a few kids and stuff. He's like, "Go back to the mess hall. Go back to the mess hall." And you see another cabin. Unfortunately, there's like four kids there, and they're kind of like not sure what to do and everything because they're like, "Oh, did we go back? We think we heard them going back." But who gets there? Not Nick. We get Tommy gets to this friggin' camp place, and he slaughters all of them. Friggin' like four of them. Absolute
This
slaughter.
dude is on an absolute rampage.
I was gonna say, like, he is starting to kill people bad right now. Meanwhile, back to the bathroom, to the outhouse there, we see Ziggy find Sheila. She walks in there, she finds Sheila, but Sheila is coming up swinging. She attacks her right away, like, she is not having it. The other counselor, I forget that dude's name, but another counselor runs in, and Ziggy actually, like, KOs Sheila, punches her right in the face, kind of knocks her out. And as this is happening, you hear like more voices and everything. And they look in there, and she sees through the friggin' outhouse. Cindy and Alice are down underneath like the outhouse on the other time, and then the other side there. And
My first question about this whole thing is,
yeah,
where did all the shit go?
yeah, I had a lot of questions about the scene too.
Was that big massive thing that Alice was touching?
That's
Does
what
it
I
just
mean.
eat shit and stay
That's what I mean.
alive?
There was a lot of stuff. I was trying not to look too much to figure out what was going on, but I also do love how the counselor's like, "What's going on?" And so he's like, "My sister's in the toilet." Like, oh, so freaking good. And anyway, we see Nick stumbles across. Now he's still looking. We're back to Nick now. He stumbles across that dead girl who had the sex with the guy. Her boyfriend.
The dead girl who had that sex with that guy.
Yeah, that dead girl who had that sex. Anyway, he finds Kurt and he's like, "Hey, yo, we gotta go to the mess hall, load those kids on a bus. We gotta get the hell out of here. You don't have to tell him twice. Dude's out there. They got the plan going. They're gonna get the buses. They are gonna get the hell out of here." Back to the bathroom now. They got a rope and they are pulling up Alice. Alice. They are pulling Alice up. But unfortunately, as this is all happening, Tommy, this dude just loves bursting in and just crushing everything. He runs in there and he decapitates that counselor. And holy crap, like talk about losing your friggin' head. Like Alice drops. Poor Alice, man. She is so beat up. She falls down there, but the headless corpse falls down there too, like right next to her. We see Ziggy. Ziggy runs away and she finds Nick and she tells him everything. Like, hey, the witch is real. This is all real. This is all real. And he's kind of like, I don't know, like still kind of like fighting it. And then right away though, Tommy bursts into that cabin. This dude is on, like Sean said, a spree. He is chopping everything.
This dude is killing people with the swiftness. Like
seriously,
if you eliminate the entire franchise of Friday the 13th and start with this as the backstory, and then go right into like Friday the 13th 09.
Yeah,
I would believe it because they both move with such haste and violence that it's unreal.
Crazy. I freaking love this slasher. Nick gets his leg chopped. Ziggy just runs, and then we also cut to Cindy and Alice, and they're like, all right, well, like we need to find a new way out. Alice tells Cindy, look, I'm gonna slow you down. I'm gonna keep going, but you go ahead of me, and I'll catch up. And as this is all happening, we also see the bus pulling out, and they're leaving. Good for all those kids on board. Get the hell out.
Bad for them.
Don't turn back. But now we see Ziggy is on the mess hall, and she turns the radio on again, and we got Kansas blasting again. Let's go with that music. And, of course, Tommy, though, bursts right in again. This son of a bitch is everywhere. And we see Cindy, and Cindy gets to the mess hall, too. But she's underneath, like, a crate, whatever you call it. Is it a vent cover or something?
Yeah.
She's, like, banging on the vent cover. She's trying to get up. It's got the screws on it and everything. She's doing that. Tommy attacks Ziggy. And it's so cool, too, because at this point, it's so, like, Tommy's face. As she's getting attacked, there's like a bunch of potato sacks and everything, and she takes the sack, and we see her put the friggin' sack on his head.
She's pulling so hard that you can actually hear it forming to his face.
Yeah, it's crazy. She is strangling him so hard, trying to kill him as she's getting attacked. But luckily, Cindy makes it through to that side, and she stabs him like a million times. Let's go. He is down. And we get the hug scene, the makeup scene. They are so excited, like they're being so nice to each other right now. And guess who comes out there too? All of a sudden, Alice comes out there too. Like, let's go. And they're like, there's just the three of them now. And they're like, oh my God, like the nurse spent like her whole entire life just trying to prove this and everything. And what does Alice have? Alice, she found something in there from a scene a little earlier. She comes up and says, you know what? I found Sarah Fier's hand. And they're like, oh my God, like we can finish this. Like we have to reunite this with the body. We're gonna go to the hanging tree, find the rest of her, and we are gonna end this tonight. But as this friggin' happens, Ziggy gets a nosebleed and it bleeds on the friggin' hand. She gets a crazy scary vision. She sees everything. She like snaps out of it. She's like, "Oh my God, like I saw the witch." And she is pissed. Like this is not good at all because right after this happened, that gross whatever the hell Sean called it, hematobin thing, whatever, that heartbeat disgusting thing. Well, God, that thing's moving around. That thing's like giving birth to things. At the same time as that happens, we see Tommy with his fingers deciding to wiggle. And Alice basically goes on this epic speech and everything. She's like, despite, like, she needs to stand up for herself, despite her injury, like, she's gonna help. She's not quitting. And son of a bitch, what a great moment when friggin' Tommy again ruins it again. Ruins it. And he runs in and he chops friggin' Alice.
Dude, he has got unreal timing because she gives this epic speech. And through this whole series so far, everything has been, if you're from Shady Side, you have shit luck. You cannot escape Shady Side. Shady Side will always find you. Yep. And it figures at the end of this epic speech, she goes, let's do this for Shady Side. And those are her last words.
That crushed me so bad. Like you really feel for you. Like, oh my God, this is like her character arc. Like this went like
she went from like crazy stoner who hates Cindy because she calls her a narc and is all about fun, carefreeness to let's do this. Let's step up. We're all good people. I really do love you guys. This is just a persona I put on, just like this is a persona you put on. Like it was massive character growth that was just absolutely just axed right off the bat. Just
right there. Later. And Cindy, I mean, she's grown as a person too because she loses it and grabs that shovel and she decapitates Tommy with a friggin' shovel, pops that head right off. But guess what? Now they hear singing. And anyone who's watched 1994 first, you know when it's singing. It's
Ruby Lane.
Who likes to sing? It's Ruby Lane. We see Ruby emerge from the tunnel. So they're like, we are getting the hell out of here. They sprint to this friggin' tree. They are digging so fast. And as this has happened, though, you see Ruby. You got Tommy No Head walking out there. You got another one of the slashers walking. So there's like 3 villains, I think, walking towards them. Like everyone's walking towards them at the same time. And they thank God they hit something. They get so excited. But it's like a freaking giant rock. And it says like the witch forever lives. Like, and I mean, these things are coming towards them fast now. They are being surrounded. And they both run. Dude, Cindy tries so hard to set him free and just trying to like save her sister. But they are both caught by different freaking killers. And absolutely.
The milkman in this scene is unhinged.
Dude, the milkman catches them and friggin' Tommy No Head. And they just get stabbed to death, hacked to death. And they to the point where like they both fall on the ground and it's so sad. It's such a crazy scene. Like they're laying like so close to each other. And the killers disappear. Both sisters are dead. And this is the part where we see Nick runs up there and he actually saves Ziggy with CPR. And it's now all of a sudden you start hearing like narration. Like you hear present day, what do they call it? C
Berman.
C Berman. You hear her doing the narration. And she's like, it's all for nothing. Like, my sister sacrificed herself for me, all for nothing. Basically says, like, sometimes I wish I wasn't even, like, I wish I wasn't even saved that day. And you even see, like, flashbacks to that scene where they're talking to Nick, like, what happened here and everything. And, dude, Nick, with all the truth of the witch and all that shit that happened, he he even just says, Tommy went crazy. Like, blames it on, like, Tommy and the drugs. Doesn't he? Like, that pissed me off so much. Like, you think dude, he's going to be
not only that, he renames her. Like what the
yeah, why? That too, like, oh, so terrible. And all of a sudden now though we are back in 1994, and Dina and Josh are there from that first one, and they realize like, oh my God, like Christine is Ziggy. They literally are like, you're Ziggy, and they tell her though, like, wait, we found the witch's body. Like, we can end this. And after like Ziggy's telling them like, no, there's like nothing we can do. Like, and they're like, no, we found the body. Let's end this. And we're gonna go to the tree. We're gonna get this. So they actually go to the Shady Side Mall, which was actually built after the closure of Camp Nightwing. And they dig out the friggin' hand from that like a tree, like inside the friggin' mall.
It was
And they
like
go,
2 feet deep, though.
I know.
The only thing I can think of, Justin,
Yeah.
is the people who like built the camp were so fucking terrified of the legend of Sarafier that they ignored
Yeah.
everything and just built right over it. And then the Shady Side Mall, the construction workers that built that mall must have been so terrified of Sarafier's legend that they just built around the tree and never
So
touched it.
that's what I thought too. Because like you said, Sean, it would have been really dumb if you just like, oh, I'm gonna go in the mall and I was like, they just dig in and find it right away. I thought that too. I'm like, that is really stupid. But then I thought about it too, and I'm like, you know what? They might have just built this mall around like, because
Yeah, because the first time you see it, I'm like, how the fuck is that in the mall?
yeah, I thought it was
Like,
really
isn't there
stupid at
usually
first.
fake trees in a mall?
Exactly. But then I thought about it like if there was like a witch's tree like lore in your town and everything, and people,
I'm
especially
not
back
building
then,
a mall around it though. Like, what the fuck?
yeah, there's some little weirdness going on. But needless to say, regardless of that, they dug out the hand, they go back to the body, and they reunite it. But all of a sudden, we see like Dina's nose bleed, and it's like boom! All of a sudden, dude, she finds herself in like 1666, and almost as like she's like a witch or something. And we get like the next like minute or two is like we actually get the trailer for part three, where which we see like occult imageries, goats, like witches, all that 1600s symbolic.
Yeah, we get the
horror.
pastor, the one that like started the whole killing sprees.
Exactly. You get all of that. The end. It is over. Take it away. What are your thoughts? What's your rating? What do you like?
I go the colors, the cinematography, the costume design, the slasher in a campground, good versus evil. Bro, the soundtrack, chef's kiss. It's like these movies just keep getting better. There is so many fun-filled layers in this movie, and the best way to enjoy it is just to sit back and take in the experience. I'm giving this a 7.8 for 1978. My only gripe with this movie
Yeah.
is, and it might be because I watched it like, I don't know, 6 or 7 times, like leading up to this, because
Yeah.
I watched it and then my kid wanted to watch it, and then I rewatched it and I forgot to take notes, so I had to rewatch it.
Oh my god.
Dude, I feel like I heard Cherry Bomb and Carry On My Wayward Son way too many times.
I've been singing Cherry Bomb for like, I watched it twice. I've been singing Cherry Bomb nonstop.
And the worst part is every time Cherry Bomb came on, my head went to, you ever see The Runaways, the movie?
No.
No, it went immediately to the chick who plays Joan Jett.
Yeah.
I think it's whatever. I'm not even gonna sit here and stumble on her name, but I felt like I heard that one too many times from start to finish.
Yeah.
But other than that, dude, I absolutely love this movie, and I can't wait to dive into 1666 and Prom Queen next. Also, I did have to deduct a few points when Tommy killed poor little Jeremy. That kid never stood a chance. He had my heart the second he was like, "You guys are now property of Shady Side, but while we're here, do you want some like refreshments? Maybe we could play a game. Do you guys like charades?" Absolutely broke my fucking heart, because all that kid did was, all he wanted was a friend.
Doing this podcast with you is kind of crazy how you like get to know like the part, like how they feel about a scene. Because so when I watch that scene, I don't even know why, but in my head, I'm like, Sean hates the scene. I'm like, this kid, this bothers Sean. Like something about that kid, I'm like, Sean's gonna have a hard time with that. Like I thought of you when that kid got crushed. I'm like, Sean just is having a tough time right now, and that's so funny that he just talked about
he was
it
just.
again.
I mean, I relate to him because I've been a big guy all my life.
Yeah,
and I've always tried to be like really friendly and accepting of everyone around me.
Yeah,
but like there was something about that kid that I was like, if there's anyone I want to survive this movie, it's him.
Maybe that's what it was, that he was like chubby,
and
not in a mean way.
Fucking brutality that Tommy unleashes on him.
Like I think that's why. Like
because you even get it earlier in the movie. This kid was so excited, and you could tell he looked up to Tommy, because when Tommy was sitting there and he was talking to them about Color Wars, he's like, "Who's guarding home base?" And he was like, "Is it you, Jeremy?" And he was like, "I can do it." Like so proud to take on the task, and he was like, "You are going to be the most important player of this game." And he like handed him the flag, and then Tommy went off into like this trance like state, and the little kid was like concerned for him. He's like, "Tommy, are you okay?"
Yeah,
like there was just such a connection with him, And then the fact that the Sunnysiders, when he asked them if they like charades, they were like, "Shut the fuck up, nerd."
No,
I was like,
they're terrible to
I
him.
would have slapped this little kid across the face.
Oh man,
I broke my heart.
I knew it did.
All right.
But all right. Anyway, yeah. So I wrote, I love the soundtrack. I love the characters. Camp Horror is like my favorite thing ever. It's a super fun rewatch. I love it so much. I rank this one higher than 1994. I give this an 8.3 out of 10. I think I gave 94 an 8, so I just moved up to an 8.3. Let's go.
I
You
think
got
this
it?
one was hands down better than 94. I think
Yeah.
the only reason why I like 94 so much is the soundtrack.
Yeah, soundtrack wise, obviously just 'cause,
Straight
like
up.
90s, it's
Yeah.
so good. But all right, let me tell a fun fact first. So something about the soundtrack that I love more than anything in the whole entire world is the fact that when we were in 1994, we had Nirvana's like oh my God, what's it? The Man Who Sold the World was playing in 1994. And I was like, oh my God, Nirvana. And the fact that when this went to 1978, dude, they were playing the David Bowie's version. Like,
Right?
I love that they did the same. Like, dude, like that was amazing. And they also did that with Velvet Underground's Sweet Jane. When they're in 1978, they played Sweet Jane, but in 1994 they played the Cowboy Junkies remake of it too. So for two different songs, they played the same song by cover artists like that in those years. Like,
And they're all
oh,
so good. It's not like the
like
cover was worse or the regular was
no,
worse. Like all
oh,
those songs
so good.
slap, bro.
It was so cool. I thought that was such a good thing they were doing. And I guess since I we already talked about how this was filmed last, we get the tagline "Find the Truth." We got a body count of 13, and I don't think I need to say this, but there's obviously so many homages to Friday the 13th, including one of the characters' name being Alice, which is one of them. We got the Baghead, I mean the main killer. There was even one of the camps that was actually a filming location as the same location of Jason Lives Part 6. There were so many references and homages to that. It was amazing. Even a few to Halloween 78. So many.
Dude,
What do you
although
got?
this is the second film in the Fear Street trilogy, like we said earlier, it was actually filmed last. Parts 94 and 66 were filmed first. Uh, like you say, there's so many homages. I've got this film borrows heavily from the Friday the 13th series, especially having the killer wearing a burlap sack, as Jason did in part two. You said Alice was a nod to Friday the 13th. I don't know how you missed Tommy as Tommy Jarvis.
Oh yeah, see, there's so many. I was gonna say there's so many obvious. It's crazy.
At one point, Nick says Stephen King's new one is supposed to be good when they were talking in the cabin. He's referring to The Shining. The Shining was first published in 1977, and a famous scene from Stanley Kubrick's The Shining in 1980 is actually reenacted by Tommy when he's using the axe to chalk through the doors.
Yep.
That was
So much,
awesome.
so much cool stuff.
I know we harped on the soundtrack, but the composition that goes through this movie from the composers and like its own score is unreal. Composers Marco Beltrami and Brandon Roberts used this chance to actually pay tribute to the classics, including The Omen, Alien, and Friday the 13th. And you can hear it, and it's perfectly placed.
So good.
There's while Tommy is on his killing spree, he murders a group of three shady siders who are color war prisoners inside the cabin. One of these girls may very well have been the aunt of Kate Schmidt, who mentioned in Fear Street Part 1 that her mom's sister was at Camp Nightwing, which screwed up their family for a really long time. And then for my last one, I've got in what may be a nod to the Scream franchise, Jane essentially breaks each horror movie survival rule in order right before being killed. The scene opens with Joan and Kurt like having sex. And when they finish, Kurt goes into the shower while Joan finds and proceeds to smoke a joint. Then Joan hears a noise and goes to investigate it while scantily dressed and completely alone. And in this scene, dude, I say this shit all the time. She doesn't see anyone and says, okie dokie, and then immediately dies.
Yep, she got
So
it.
that made me not what I need to stop saying okie dokie, I guess.
Yeah, don't say that.
You got anything else?
No, that pretty much covers everything.
All right, Hack Stab Slash. Until next time, this was Fear Street 1978. I had an absolute blast, and I can't wait to do 1666. Till then, we out.
Peace.